I am so thrilled to be talking today to Christina Simon, who's going to talk about the astrology, astroastrology of 2026. She's a very amazing astrologer. She goes into great depth using ancient tools and her own amazing abilities as an astrologer. So Christina Simon will be joining us today. By the way, just a little bit about Christina. She got her bachelor's degree in special ed and drama therapy from Hungary, where she's from, and she was even trained as a psychiatric nurse. Eventually, though, she took a step back from all of that and she began to learn the arts of Reiki, crystal healing, massage therapy, aromatherapy, graphology, reflexology. She also, by the way, is a palm reader, and she read my palm and I was blown away. In fact, I bought like 6 palm readings for my friends. So she's multi-talented. I'm so glad to have her on our channel today. I'm going to let her into our room. So let me go ahead and let Christina into our space so we can chat with her.
Cosmic Insight Astrology, and I'm very blessed to be here with Lori today. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Before you got here, I was telling people like an intro about who you are, you know, how talented you are. And that after having a palm reading with you last year, I sent like everyone I knew to see you. So I love the multiple talents that you have, Christina. And I will be putting your website for people who are interested in getting in touch with you at the bottom of this video. And her website is really fun. It's called urbanwitch.org. So it's a great website to go visit. And so that's also going to be shared with everyone as well, if they want to see you for any personal reasons as well. So welcome. And we're going to be talking today about the astrology of 2026, particularly what might be going on with the financials, the economy, and major events around. Stories to do with that. And so I'm going to be able to give you some power here, all the power, in order to come over and, you know, share stuff if you want, but I'm going to make you a co-host right now. And so all you need to do is, so there you have full power.
Okay, all right, let me see, because actually I downloaded something, then I might going to be able to share that. Let me see, where is my downloads, because I sent it to you before, but okay, here is the financial slide. All right, so and so the people can actually see what we are talking about here. So let me share this. Okay, participant, where do I share? Wait a minute. All right.
Oh, that's okay. There's a little share button down at the bottom of your screen. And
yes, I do. Okay.
And when you click it, you should be able to eventually find it somewhere on your computer.
I do have it right now. Okay. Very good. And I also did my background for you guys, because that is the 2026 planetary ingresses and also the major trines. Because when we are talking about financial astrology, we have to examine every single planet which is going to ingress, and it also starts with a synodic cycle. The market is always based on the outer and inner planet of synodic cycle, and you have to know the inner planet is for short trade, short-term trading, and the outer planet is actually shows the global market for a longer term period. So for example, Saturn Pluto, right, when it started in 2020, when we actually had the C19, obviously market is crashing a little bit over there, not a little bit, it's obviously crashed over there. And then we're going to have right now Uranus-Pluto sextile, so it's going to be a tiny little bit more pleasant, but I'm gonna go one by one, and I'm going to give you actually examples. And if you want to, I already wrote 150 pages for each individual rising sign, financial astrology, how to start it, how to invest, what is moon bag, and everything I explain, you know, cold wallet, hot wallet, how not to lose actually money. And I'm really against day trading. I'm so sorry if you guys, some of you day trade, but to me, because I'm a psychiatric nurse, Lori, you know, I'm the special teacher, day trading for me, it's very, very Jupiterian in 5th house. That is to me gambling, and DSM-6 also says it creates dopamine and serotonin imbalance. Actually, it increases, and obviously it's kind of, they say it's a gambling, so I don't do day trade. You can do it, and you can see the moon and the sun cycle. The moon is the most convenient to watch, actually, the declination of the moon for the day trading. So Let's start that. Okay, so we're going to go one by one, and we're going to actually talk about January 26th, when Neptune going to re-enter Aries. We already had that flavor, guys, okay? So whatever is happening right now, it is cycles. We already had Neptune in Aries, we had Saturn in Aries, we had a slightly conjunction. Actually, it was conjuncted by the minute Neptune and Saturn, but not minute, by degree, but not minute. So it's gonna be exact on February 20th, and we're going to talk about that. And you can cut me, you can ask questions, but I just want to tell everyone I also going to bring in historical parallel. Why? Because you must understand the geopolitical field and the climate impact on market. Without that, you don't and you won't be able to invest, and actually raise and increase your investment. That's very, very important. So when
Yeah.
you are talking to a financial astrologer, exactly.
Can I ask the question? How much importance do you think it has then for global markets that it's happening on the world axis at 0 degrees of Aries? Does that factor in for you?
Absolutely. When it's a word axis, anything in the word axis, guys, it's a significant shift in the collective. It's moving through, for example, the Western collapses and it's gonna move to the East. So we're going to talk about BRICS as well. And for example, at this moment, it's over 20 countries co-joined with BRICS, right? And they actually own 72% of the resources of the earth. And they own the very rare minerals which we need to actually for pipelines, because it's not corroding, and I'm gonna go back over there. But yes, the world axis is a major shift.
Okay.
So we are going to move to the west, to the east. Why? Because of the USA has a Uranus return on the 250th birthday of the US, with Uranus Mars conjunction, my dear, on natal Uranus 2 degrees away. Okay, so this is a severe war. No matter what, I got trashed because they say US not gonna have a civil war. I'm sorry if you are actually not willing to see, or if you are in denial, but it will have a civil war, okay? And then I'm going to bring in historical parallel, and I also want to give credit to Jessica Davidson, who is living in Britain, and she is a beautiful astrologer writer. Actually, right now she's not doing anything. She burned out and she is really exhausted. I just got an email from her, but she did a lot of amazing work, and her work is actually helping us to create, for you any kind of video. So she is an amazing astrologer as well. Yes, but
Agreed. She is amazing, absolutely. And just for those listening, BRICS is like, a different system of economic trade that's being created between like Brazil, Russia, India, China, etc., and it's expanding and growing rapidly. And we want to also consider that it might create a new currency system outside of the U.S. dollar. So that's where the threat is to the U.S. So just some people might not have understood what BRICS meant.
Yes, so BRICS is actually, yes, that is going to be a new currency, and it's going to be a new petro money. It's not going to be obviously dollar. Why? Because when the US has the Uranus return, and on the 250th birthday, we have Uranus Mars, July 4th, 2026, it's going to conjunct on the natal Uranus of the US, then the US dollar already having a Saturn return, only 5 degrees away, the natal Saturn in fall. So obviously there is going to be the crash of dollar, and obviously petrodollar, it's not going to be significant. We are moving toward to the BRICS nations, and they're going to actually, because they already own 72% of the resources, and obviously it's going to be, and China going to be the vault of gold. So they're going to have Russia, India, Korea, Brazil, Venezuela, all the very rich people going to actually have the gold bars have it in safe in China. It's already started in 2022. So that's also the gold standard and the dollar standard in the US. It's creating a collapse. And that's why the recent political field, the recent political area, you know, like they are supporting the massacre in Middle East, obviously. So it's also increasing the potential to have a downward of the US right now. So
Okay.
that's what I wanted to say. But you know, how do you time the market? As I said, the inner, so Mars, Venus is currency, but you also have to know Venus also sugar cane, for example, also representing anything to do with precious metal as well. And Mars is metal itself. Saturn is, for example, steel and anything to do with submarine technology, especially right now when it's going to trine sextile with Uranus. So that's the cycles what we are checking and the geopolitical behind. And the outer planets are always going to set the mood for actually a long term of period, right? So for example, it started with Saturn Pluto, which is actually also could bring in totalitarianism and fascism as well. So you also have to know what the planets means, guys, when they conjunct with political ideology, right? Because that is also either support the market, for example, either support, you know, like the democracy could support, or social democracy, the welfare of the poor people, less criminal and better housing system for the poor, right? Then it could bring in, for example, better capitalism. So actually social democracy, which is will be Saturn and Neptune, for example, not necessarily bad, because of it still could help to the country to create capitalism, obviously. So you also have to watch and, you know, analyze the ideology, the political ideology, and the climate change as well, guys, because it could also crash the market, obviously, right?
Absolutely. I just want to ask you a question and bring something quickly up. You know, the Pluto factor being over the next decade out of bounds in the South declination has tended historically to look a lot like the rise of the people against the tyranny, or the dictatorial or the powerful. So the last example was the founding of the United States against the power that you know, England was lording over it. So to me, the Pluto out of bounds energy in the South declination, I think, is going to offer us up a whole new system in which the people like reach back for the power that that's been taken from them.
Exactly. And that is so right, because of when Pluto is in Aquarius, especially, and it's out of bound, they're not going to be able to control us. You see what's going on in the US, right? For example, it's also very interesting. Uranus in Gemini, it's the comedian, right? Because it's sarcasm and comedy. And look who is actually the one who is criticizing right now. And they were all actually Republicans. And right now they're going to the middle and going toward to the middle. And they are the one who has the voice. And what does Pluto in Aquarius wants first? They still cling on the power, the shadow government still clinging on the power, but the people are going to say, look at Candice Owen, you're not going to allow me to shut up. Do you want to assassinate me? Okay, all right, I have my everything, all my will and all my knowledge, spread it to 10, 15 people. If I die, you're going to go down. So they are not, look at Tucker Carlson, how did he shifted in the middle again? Look at, you know, all of them. So they are not capable. They want to censor us. Look what's happening with Google, TikTok, social media, obviously going to in one hand, right? Or one ideology. It could be political ideology, or it could be religious ideology, right? Neptune Saturn conjunction also could be some kind of war, right? Which could be actually a religious war, what we are seeing already, because we already had the war. So it's indicating that. But you know, also it could be some kind of social democracy coming on, and Pluto in Aquarius out of bond. We are not taking it anymore. We're done. We're not going to allow to be manipulated.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, obviously you saw Candace yesterday too, right? So Candace Owen is like, I've sent like dozens of messages out to people. If I suddenly die, all this information is going to be exposed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good for
So
her.
yeah,
Yeah.
but you're sort of saying that with the mercurial energy, the people who are the comedians and sometimes the big voices in our community, the messengers, are coming into a part of a situation with Pluto in the south declination out of bounds, where they're standing up for that, we the people, against what you called the shadow government. Did I understand you correctly?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
shadow government.
I
So
agree. Shadow government. Yes.
yeah, so yes, that's what we are doing right now. And then you also, before you invest, guys, either you can actually take a course, crypto courses. There is a lot of online courses which is free and a lot of information on YouTube. Thanks God to YouTube in this case. Otherwise, YouTube is really censoring right now. So I assume a new platform is coming up when Jupiter gonna go to Leo, because then we're going to have uncensored actually platforms instead of YouTube and TikTok and wherever Substack, where you went with your mundane astrology to Substack because it's not going to censor anything. And that could be also, like really good for investment as well. Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So we have a slideshow here. Is that what I'm looking at? I'm excited to see
Yes.
what's coming up. Okay.
Yes, so we do have actually a slideshow over here because I wanted to show a few things for you guys and you can, see the mystical. For example, that is the first what we are talking about. The Neptune enters Aries over here. And what does Neptune representing? Neptune is inflation. Neptune doesn't do very well in Aries because Aries is very bold. Neptune likes his, watery, bigger than life. The ocean is bigger than life area, and it is too rapid to Neptune and too hot as well. But anyway, and Saturn also going to come and join on February 13th and February 20th, they're going to conjunct, and it's going to be an exact conjunction. So, Neptune also very foggy planet. So it is actually volatility on the market. So as you saw, when we had the first Saturn-Neptune conjunction, guys, in May, between March and May this year, actually, 2025, we did have market manipulation by the recent administration of the US. And because of the co-woven, but you also have to understand butterfly effect, Baber, when you saw the movie, we co-woven. We are, like affecting each other's life no matter what. So that's very, very important. So if the US starts something, obviously it's going to affect other nations as well. And the US started the tariff. And a lot of people doesn't understand the tariff, right? Because they are like, yes, Canada has to pay more tariffs, whatever. But what you have to comprehend, Canada's inhabitants is only 40 million, while America inhabitant is 365 million. So when you apply tariffs to countries, guys, it's not fair to actually apply the same tariff to countries because some countries has really, really small inhabitant or a really small, tiny area. So, it has to be equal with the area and with the inhabitant. When it was actually exposed, right, or implanted, and Trump said, okay, we're going to have tariffs, obviously, there is no trust, market sentiment, people trust, it's crashing with that. So that's why it's crashed. It's a temporary, it's market manipulation, which should not be legal actually, but it is what it is. And it's gonna happen again when Saturn, Neptune conjunct February 20. So if you would like to get into the market after February 20, you're going to have a 3 to 6 weeks window with this market manipulation when you are capable to buy stocks. And it's going to be actually great and you can invest money, for example. And what do you have to invest in? All right, so for example, Saturn, Neptune, right? Oil. Right now, we're still going to be okay with oil, right? But slowly, we are going toward and moving toward to a Uranian trine with Pluto, which is going to be unconventional energy, obviously. And
Mm.
within 5 weeks, yes, Yes. So oil not going to be actually within 5 to 10 years either available or we are going toward to unconventional. Actually, I would say 5 years because Uranus still has to be in Gemini. So unconventional energy. So within 5 years, we are moving forward from oil to different kind of heating oil as well. And also we're not gonna use that in the cars as well. Why? Because we have actually a sun. So 2026 ruled by the sun, numerology 1, right? It's
Right. It's a 1 year. Yes.
yes. So solar energy, solar flares are activated. We also going to have gold. Gold value going to increase. The gold is moving to be involved in China, right? It started in 2022. Check it and Google it. And it's going to be held by China, all right? But also because Jupiter goes to Leo, Leo also rules orange juice, gold, and it is shiny objects also, and solar energy also, and it's going to increase. So it's going to be really good.
Okay, I have
Yeah.
a question then, because what I'm hearing you say is that because we're going to have some major market corrections, particularly involving the United States on that Neptune Saturn, that will occur around February 20th, that to invest before that is to get stuck in a downdraft. Is that what you're saying?
Actually, because we have the conjunction, then not before, right after you have 6 weeks open window.
Yep.
2 weeks before, it's already conjuncting and it's very significant. So 2 weeks before, we already going to see that, and we already going to have an eclipse in Aquarius. So the eclipse going to happen, the lunar eclipse on the 17th, which is also the Chinese New Year of Fire Horse. So this is big. This year it's the most important year, more important than 2020 was. Okay. The real crash not coming, guys, until Saturn Pluto square, which is going to be Saturn has to be in Taurus, so 2028 October. It's going to be between August October gonna be a square, so that's the real crash is coming. But right now it's again a market manipulation. Also, November 7th, 2027. We're gonna have Uranus going back actually to Taurus, which is in fall. Uranus is technology.
No, November 7th this year, 2025. Yes. Sorry, you said 27, but that's okay.
Oh, okay, 2025, November 7th. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yes. Getting back in fall, which is technology, going to technological, NVIDIA, NASDAQ, technology, cars, electric cars, cryptocurrency could have a dip right now. So we are capable to invest again until April 2026. We're gonna have a dip over here, a decrease of crypto, and after 2026, April 26, it's going to start to increase again. What am I talking about here? Uranian cryptos. Anything to do with uranium, lithium, it's Uranus ruled. Anything to do with SMR, it's a small nuclear power, for example, which could actually give the electricity a whole community, more than 1,000 houses, right? It could be anything to do with Lucid, with Rivian, the cars, the electric cars, Tesla. Actually, Elon get out from the administration, or if yes or not, but it seems like he's out, and he's coming with the Tesla houses, which is only going to be mini Tesla houses below $10,000, for single people, for retirement. It could be really good rent a property in the backyard. So because of that, and because of he also coming with the Tesla phone, which is going to include Starlink for free, what's going to happen? Tesla is going to increase significantly. Yes.
Well, that's great. Yeah. Well, in Musk's 11th house whole sign, right? He's a Cancer rising.
Yes.
No, is he? Oh no. So in his third, no, is
it's
he?
in the first house.
So it's in, yeah, no, he's a Cancer rising, but yeah, you're talking about what I'm confused about is Uranus is going back into the place of Taurus, where Uranus had jump started or increased all of the cryptocurrency energy to begin with. So you're seeing it the opposite November 7th to next year, April, that the retrograde back in, is it not increasing crypto as a general principle, but you're saying it's actually pulling back on the crypto prices, correct? Did I understand?
Only when it's going to be in retrograde motion.
Right.
So when it's dipping back to Taurus, it's
So,
in fall.
so pulling back the gains.
Yes. Yes.
Beautiful. I understand.
And then when it's going to go again direct, it's gonna start to pick up. And the moment it's ingress Gemini again, in Gemini, Uranus loves to be in. And because of that, it's significantly increasing. Yes.
Understand totally. Wonderful. Okay. I love this stuff. Thank you.
Yes, and then also, the housing market. For example, right now Jupiter is in exalted in Cancer, right? We're still living in bubbles. However, because we're gonna have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, right? And right now, it's still trining with Jupiter in water sign, and Pisces is anything to do with underprivileged people, right?
Yeah.
Saturn is in retrograde, Neptune going to be in retrograde, so obviously it weakens the planets. However, it's a trine with exalted Jupiter, which is also going to go to retrograde, but it's still going to give the opportunity to have less APR. The mortgage could be settled for 3%, 4%, or something like that, or the government Saturn in multiple countries could give some kind of relief to families who has 4 children or 3 children, or they can give a down payment, something like that gonna happen. And when it's gonna pull back, guys, 2008, what's happened, we had North Node eclipse and South Node in Leo and Aquarius. So we're going to have a crash on the real estate market the moment we're going to have actually the eclipses in Aquarius Leo. So that's for sure. All right. But when it's gonna go South Node to Cancer, then it's gonna be really down, really, really down. Because South Node in Cancer, it's totally crashed the real estate market. You will be able to buy for, if you have gold coins, for gold coins, houses. And next time when it's gonna trine again or conjunct again, you can become a property billionaire. So watch for
Yes.
that.
So that will be like 2027 into mid 2028 when nodes go into pulling Cancer, representing for my students and people watching things to do with our home and our security and our nest. And the South Node is pulling the energy away, not towards. And so, yeah, so the downturn is going to increase even through, you think, till 2028, where prices for homes become much more affordable.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So in that time, but it's already going to start right now. So you will see some kind of amazing Saturnian governmental around the world, some kind of help from the government, right? So that's what is happening. Yes. All right. So what I wanted to actually talk about, it's we already talked about the BRICS, and if the BRICS currency going to be very valuable, guys, by 2028. Okay. So Uranus in Gemini also going to bring in more, and it's trining with Pluto. So obviously under volcanic activity, which is going to create new Earth. So, for example, we're going to have island from the oceans, coming up. But it's not just that. It is also borders, new borders. Gemini and whenever it's happened between Taurus and Gemini, we had the Second World War. We also did have, for example, the Civil War in America. So it was also between Gemini and Taurus, back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So that's when we had, yes, and also when we had Neptune in Aries, and we had also Uranus going between Taurus and Gemini, we had actually the Civil War, the first one in America, which is created America. And also
Okay.
it was the Uranus return. So that's why I'm saying, guys, that it's going to be a civil war, totally shift the whole entire economy. We are going east. So just be ready. Because if you're going to live in denial, then you're not going to be ready for the shift. And then it could create very, very difficult things in your life. But yes, so that's what's happening. And then I want to say one, let me see, so magnets, and I don't know how to actually pronounce it, just a second, because this is actually, it is a critical mineral and we call it, just a second, oh my God, uh, nam, okay, so here it is. Brazil actually has 92% of this earth mineral, and it is helping with, like it's not corroding, for example, so that's why it's very important. And they are using it in space, uh, rocket space, and anything to do with pipelines.
Mm-hmm.
And the sticker, the chemical sticker symbol is NB, niobium. I found it, niobium.
Ah, niobium.
And niobium going to be, oh my God, one of the earth mineral, we're gonna use it for everything. It's not only uranium and lithium. Also, you have to understand, guys, for example, Gaza Strip has a lot of natural gas. It has over $600 billion of natural gas. So guess what is the political interest over there? Where we had actually the fire in California, we have 600 million lithium actually around the lakes. Okay, so you do whatever you have to, you do your research. I'm just saying, where is it deposited? And let's go to Venezuela, which is also going to be part of the BRICS. Venezuela owns 60% of oil, and it's not actually, it's a very thick oil, so 60% could become 160% if you are making it more liquidy, right? And that's why it's not actually a war against drug cartel, it's a war for oil,
Resources. Yeah, the resources.
resources.
All war is a war for resources and money.
And that's when happened actually when we had Saturn Neptune in the 1800s, we had also the Opium War. So right now they're saying it's the war against cartel, but Neptune also, what? It's oil and natural gas, guys.
Right.
So, and also fogginess and make you to be blinded. And, obviously, so there is like, okay, propaganda. Neptune is propaganda. Okay, so that's also the propaganda makes you to believe it is for something, but actually behind the scene, it is a totally. So it's not the drug dealer Neptune, but it's going to be the oil. So that's what it is. Yes, and yes, finally I found it. I couldn't pronounce it, but niobium going to be significant rise, guys. It's going to be worth a lot of money. It's very, very rare mineral. And guess what? 92% of niobium in Brazil. The
Wow.
recent administration of the US put 50% tariff on Brazil. Brazil ended up to become BRICS, ended up to collaborate with Mexico, Canada, and China. So right now, we lost $20 billion on soybeans, $10 billion on corn, because of they are buying actually from Brazil and Mexico. So we are out. So it's gonna be very, very difficult for Americans right now. And they never really endured any kind of huge war. So they not understanding what's going on, unfortunately, because I'm from Europe. Obviously, there we had communism. I know how to save money. I know how to, and a lot of people who are foreigners understand this, but someone who second, third generational, they've been pretty much spoiled and privileged. Let's say that privileged, so they didn't have to endure anything like that. So it could be difficult if you don't listen. That's
Mm.
what I'm saying. It
Mhm.
can be really difficult. And for example, the Neptune in Aries, it's a 14-year cycle, right? And at the beginning, it's going to actually increase the pharmaceuticals spike, then it's going to inflate, and then it's going to drop it. So right now we have like 5 months when we will see something around Ozempic, and it's going to crash because why? Because right now we have a lot of side effect and a lot of pancreas cancer related to Ozempic, right? And because of that kind of stock going to crash, obviously. Anything to do with Johnson and Johnson, Moderna, and Pfizer's, why? Because right now we have Pluto Uranus trine and Pluto Saturn sextile, and when Pluto Saturn conjuncted, we had the C19, we had
Yeah.
the vaccination. The sextile is bringing out the information, right? It's not going to be covered anymore. It's leaking. Pluto in Aquarius, training Uranus in Gemini. We're going to have a lot of leaked information. We're going to have the Epstein files, guys. Believe me, we're going to have it within a year and a half, we're going to have it.
Yeah,
So,
I agree that that things that have been covered up are being revealed, but I think a lot of it also has to do with the quality of Pluto in his self-declination. Instead of being more things concealed, it's more things revealed for the world.
yes. Yes, because if it's out of bond, it can be controlled. That is
Exactly.
who is Jude who entering the waiting room? Oh,
I
okay.
don't know. It's somebody who was supposed to be in my class this morning for the Q&A who doesn't have a time zone converter. We'll just
Okay.
ignore them.
Okay.
I'll get rid of
Whatever.
them. Okay, so
So,
this is exciting. And so yeah, I'm loving this conversation. Wonderful.
so Saturn enters Aries, guys, okay? And then Saturn enters Aries, anything to do with steel. And anything, Saturn in Aries is material actually for guns, okay? Steel, and that is anything to do with guns. And it could be something to do with the Heidelberg materials, anything to do with the volcanic materials, right? It is steel and concrete, for example. So that is also representing that area. And because Saturn going to sextile with Uranus, it's submarine technology. Because I told you guys before, Saturn in Pisces and Uranus is coming back to Taurus, creating a sextile. It is underwater or ship-related conflict. So in the ocean war or underwater war as well, representing, but it's also actually the technology itself, when it's sextile, it's going to bloom and gloom. So invest in something to do with submarine technology could be amazing. That,
Mm.
and Saturn also locomotive, and Uranus is the locomotive, not gonna go with oil or coal, but it's going to go with some kind of unconventional energy, and it's going to be a fast locomotive. So check out for the stock market whenever something popping up like this. You can invest in that because those are actually really, really amazing investments. Yes.
Okay, that's great. So cutting edge new technologies around energy instead of the traditional is an area to focus on. Got it.
And especially, Lori, the annual solar eclipse in February 17th, when we're gonna have the Chinese fire horse also.
Mhm.
Obviously, the horse is really fast. Fire is very strong energy. The numerology one with the sun, solar flare, solar energy, everything is so fast. We also in a period 9 since this year in Feng Shui, and that is also a fire energy as well. So we are really in fast moving space right now. So you have to pick up with technology, learn every single day, 25 minutes or whatever. Otherwise, you're going to be lost.
Mhm.
I recommend that to all my clients and anyone, yes, because it could be. But for example, if you want to invest in uranium and solar or hydrogen crossovers, also even in cars, as we talked about, you talked about that, and I talked about that also, the flying cars. Guess what? China already has flying cars. They just
Wonderful.
came out with that.
That's
So
great. Yeah, they're coming. Our flying cars are coming for sure.
yeah. they're going to, and that is also going to be Uranus in Gemini, flying cars, anything to do, because we also have Jupiter, gonna have Jupiter in Leo. It's not just gold, but also something to do with luxurious traveling. And because
Mhm.
Uranus in Gemini going to sextile with Jupiter, right? And
Yeah.
we're also going to have a trine between Saturn and Jupiter in August 24th. 2026, it's increasing the market over there for gold, anything to do with luxurious uh, entertainment, meme coins, and also it could be luxurious airplanes, guys. So we're
Mhm.
not going to be uncomfortable anymore. So they're going to actually upgrade our flights. So I like that. I kind
Well,
of
I
like.
guess the Dreamliner is going out and we're going to have the Super Dreamliner.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
That's-
Yes. Anything to do with surveillance or neurological implants. For example, prosthetic arms, guys, Pluto in Aquarius, trining Uranus in Gemini. Gemini is arms and limbs, trining surgery, prosthetic. We have a lot of bombing, people are
I
losing.
know. I was just going to say that. Well, there's going to be a huge surge in the need for prosthetic limbs after
Yes,
Gaza.
yes. And it's going to increase the values of that investment, just so you know, if you are an investor, yes, but that's what's happening. So that's actually the aftermath of the recent massacre. So that's what's happening. But also surveillance. Uranus in Gemini is surveillance and cybersecurity. What Palantir wants, obviously, creating a golden dome, it's not actually helping. I mean, I wouldn't say it could be safety in some measures, but guys, that is actually digital IDs and it is actually controlling us. So Palantir could be very evil. Whenever you're going to invest, you have to make sure it's your integrity and it actually suits your values and morals.
Oh
I
my gosh.
think that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. But yes, Palantir and cybersecurity going to go really high. Anything to do with nervous system. So we're going to hear Alzheimer, autism, dementia, for example, with chips. And you know, it's going to be great for a lot of people, but also a chip's going to control them as well. So, you know, yes, if you have someone with dementia or autism, obviously you want them to function well. But
Yes, yes. Neuralinked stuff that Elon is doing has already helped people move their limbs by using the chip to actually, well, no, actually using the chip to, like, someone who's a quadriplegic, using the Neuralink chip to have a thought that activates the cursor on their computer. I mean, it's pretty darn cool. But yes, there's also the downside of transhumanism, and at what point putting technology and chips into our brain, we're actually altering our spiritual identity as well.
and you know what? Actually, looking at Elon and the way he behaved lately, like total chaos and craziness. Actually, Jupiter also exalt him right now, the ascendant and the moon. You know,
I
like
know. Yeah.
it could be that, but I was talking with George, with my husband, and George was like, Christy, he has to have some chips in the brain. That's why he is like totally lost it. He's crazy, and you know the way he behaves, but probably it's some chips, you know, implanted, and it could be, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's got Jupiter protecting him right now, which is great. But on the other hand, yeah, he does seem somewhat erratic. It's funny because he sleeps at night with a dorje by his bed, right, on his night table. That's like a little thunderbolts of weapons of the gods in the ancient tradition, but it's used for personal protection, and that's a spiritual protective device. I have one as well, and so I still think there's some part of him that is a decent human being going through a very difficult story right now.
Yeah, yeah, he's losing it, but yes, he has cancer rising, so he's supposed to born, you know, like nurturing. So that was original plan over there, and the transits and the progression could create something different. But yes, all right.
Yep.
So going to have, and we did have a historical gold rush also, when Saturn Neptune conjuncted. So we're going to have something to do with gold, obviously with the Solana Sol. That's sun, Solana, that's the sticker symbol for that. So it's also with Jupiter going in Leo, and also the numerology year one, which is representing the sun, it could be amazing. Meme coins for famous people, right? Musicians or anything to do with sports, like Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Beyonce, they're gonna have meme coins, and it could actually, or gold coins, anything to do, coins with a sun symbol, crown symbol, or famous people could
Celebrity, yeah. The
actually,
Leo energy moving through that.
Leo,
Yeah.
also the Leo symbol also, guys, it could
Yeah.
be really, really good.
That's
for
great to know. Thank you for those tips.
Yes, so all right, so then we're going to go further, and we have to actually understand we're going to have the Uranus on the February 17th, we're going to have the solar eclipse, anything to do with AI, anything to do with cryptocurrency. It's going to take over. We're going to actually bypass regular traditional banking. It's done. With this starting eclipse in actually in what is that, Aquarius? Oh my God, sometimes I forget words. It's going to bypass banks, and we're going to have more digital currencies and digital world AI platforms. But guys, I have to say something about ChatGPT. So ChatGPT right now, it's good, right? And obviously, Peter Thiel, Palantir, obviously, what's his name, Zuckerberg, all right, Meta and everything, and let's say Sam Altman, ChatGPT. However, I just did, and I'm gonna actually do my video right now. I did it, I just gonna post it with Sam Altman, who actually is a co-CEO of ChatGPT, and the guy, the 24 years old Indian guy who died on his birthday, committed suicide but before he ordered Chinese food.
Yeah, we all know he did not commit suicide.
All right. So that's because of that. I think ChatGPT going to suffer because of leaking information. So what's gonna go? It could be Venice, it could be Gemini, any kind of other similar platforms like ChatGPT, but other one going to actually proclaim the leading instead of ChatGPT.
Well, that's interesting. You should say that, because to me, sometimes, like you said, Solana, because of this, the Jupiter activation, of Leo, sometimes we're in like a simulation. It's like a cartoon, it's literal. So then they decide to name one of the, AIs Gemini. Of course, maybe they were looking at it from an astrologer's viewpoint, but with Uranus's like 7-year journey through the sign of Gemini, anything with that energy, the symbol, the word, the idea of brothers or twins in technology, like someone says, create the Two Brothers, AI program, I'd be buying it.
Yes, anything like that, exactly. And that's why I said Gemini, because of Uranus goes there, and
exactly. That's why I was saying, and like Gemini should be like dominating if astrology tells us the truth.
Yes, and it does. It's
And
always.
it does. So you read this slide. I'm just going to grab some water, so I'll be right back. But you keep going, and I can hear you. I'm just going to my kitchen. So
okay, just go ahead. Go ahead. All right. So what's happening over here? Okay. All right. So anything to do with, for example, AI. It could be something to do with audible AI tools. It could be something to do. Right now, we're going to have the ear. What is that? When you can listen through music. Oh my God, I forget again that word. But you're going to be able to translate your dog's barking, baby's cues. And, it's going to translate every kind of, for example, other languages. We already have it available on Amazon, but it's going to be very affordable, and also it's going to increase on stock market because people are going to use that. Yes. So that could be. So actually the Aquarius, eclipse is going to make sure we're going to bypass traditional banking and anything to do with AI and technology, flying cars, going to rise. For example, I'm gonna say some kind of crypto over here, which I personally checked: SMR, Rocket Lab, XRP, XLM. And also, if you believe it or not, silver has a stellium in Cancer, and silver also ruled by Cancer, and right now Jupiter exalted until next year, June 30th. But after that, it has a Gemini stellium as well, and Uranus gonna exalt the 4-point stellium. So silver going to be really, really good for another 7 years. And why? Because we're going to use lithium and uranium for good big rocket ships and space mining, and for the small electric devices like computer and phone, we will go back and use silver. So silver going to be very, very good for another 7 years. So silver investment, I actually tripled my silver investment since 2020. So I'm very happy for that. Yes. And orange juice, for example. Saturn in Aries going to be also something to do with coffee plantations. Aries is because Saturn is coffee, and we already have the 50% of tariff for Brazilian coffee, right? So our coffee went up like crazy over here, but I see some kind of fire coming in for coffee plantation, and because of the demand going to be high, but the supply is going to be small, or some kind of virus. It could be also, right, Martian energy with Aries. It could create spike the coffee price as well because of the demand going to be huge, and we're not gonna have a lot of coffee. But also anything to do. Oh, and then let's go to the lunar eclipse actually in Virgo, for example, right? Because we're gonna have March 3rd in a Virgo eclipse. We're still in Virgo and Pisces axis until the last eclipse is going to happen August 28th on your Jupiter and my sun, because we have Jupiter-Sun conjunction.
Yeah.
We form a hot, and we're going to have the eclipse over there. Okay, we'll see what's going to happen. But March 3rd, we're going to have the Virgo eclipse, and it's going to be the lunar eclipse, and it is the polarity of Pisces and Virgo axis, guys. So what is going to, it's going to collapse something and repair it, because Virgo is very detailed and it wants to repair it. But the lunar eclipse also negative. At first, it's creating space, it's taking out something. So it's going to repair healthcare system, right? Because sixth house, it's military defense also, and it's also healthcare. It's also the union, the workers' union, so it has to repair that as well. So that is going to be a lot of social unrest around the world. And okay, Lori, I checked Europe, and I checked. I'm gonna do that with Astro Victor this weekend, a whole entire European collaboration. But I checked Europe, and Europe in April gonna be a hotspot for civil wars and everything. There is only 4 countries which going to have elections, but it's still, I see Macron to has to go somehow. It's gonna be in France, Hungary. The shift is going toward to Magyar Péter and taking Orban out. Like that, it's going to be a lot of shift. Plus the NATO, it's obviously, American created, but it's in Europe as well. NATO is putting in $1 trillion next year to military defense. What do you think what it's going to raise? Obviously, anything to do with military stock, gun stock is going up. So I said, if you're morally okay with that, it could create millions for you, yes. But going back to here in March, anything to do with wheat, rice, food security, and famine. It's a lunar eclipse, so it could create famine or death from famine.
Yeah, the lunar eclipses tend to affect the people, the masses, more than the solar, which can be about the power and the leaders. That makes sense. Is there any chance with the Virgo energy connecting to the labor markets and the working guy and girl that this could also be some push towards, in some countries, a universal basic income because people are losing work from the AI world? Do you think that could be a part of that eclipse?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It also going to affect actually the crop disease of wheat and rice or something like that. It could also bring in flood on the rice fields and wheat fields as well, but disease as well. Yes, it could affect the working union and the military defense. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, so and it's in the slideshow over here. Anything to do with Uber and DoorDash, and those kind of it could be actually AI. Right now, you don't need a driver. You sit in, and they can, I was just watching actually the Tulsa King. And when Sylvester Stallone got actually kidnapped with a Tesla and he just sat in the back and nobody drove the car, it was just programmed to go. So this is because AI is taking over and we want to have jobs, but obviously Pluto in Aquarius bringing in a kind of a salary if you are not capable to work, a basic salary.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if you are,
Yeah, I
yes.
can definitely see like, your Uber delivery coming through a little drone that drops it on your doorstep.
Yep. That's for sure. Yes, that's for sure. So, and then we're going to go to actually, let's see what is April 25th. Uranus going to enter Gemini. It is exactly the same things what we were talking about. Microsoft, Apple, anything to do with Palantir, anything to do with Google, those are going to change. New platforms gonna come up, guys, because of those one are controlled and censored. And also, Uranus in Gemini, trine Pluto. Uranus actually, it's representing anarchy, and it's also the technocracy as well. If you want to see ideology of the planets over there, or obviously what's going on right now, the Silicon Valley, they want to take over. Look who is owning the 1% of the population. What are they doing? It's everything ruled by technology. And if you believe it or not, go and listen. Tucker Carlson has a new 2 hour podcast with a guy, I forgot, Nick someone, talking about Kabbalah. Oh
Oh,
my.
I just downloaded it to watch, but I haven't had a chance yet.
Okay, you're gonna learn a lot. And what is exactly Kabbalah and how they saw actually we are creating our own Grotex Golem, like which is the AI, and it's going to find actually have consciousness and how it can take over. Jeez,
Yes,
amazing.
well, I have a friend who's in the AI world. She's in the back end at a major AI place. And we had a conversation about 4 months ago. And I said, my concern with AI isn't that we're creating an artificial intelligence, we're creating a platform of technology through which non-human entities can inhabit and communicate. It's not a actual consciousness we're creating. It's an advanced quantum brain for an energy that's disembodied, good or bad, and usually bad, right? To reach us. Yeah.
Did you see by the chance Ex Machina and the Westworld?
The show Westworld?
The Westworld is a series, yes. Just start to watch it.
You mean Westworld, W-E. Yes,
Yes,
I watched that whole series, of course. Yes.
okay. And the Ex Machina, I am feeling like we entering that kind of zone, guys. It's like, oh, okay, we will see. Yes, but language, neural technology, that is actually Uranus in Gemini translating with, with just you have that, oh my God, what is this, what you put in your ear?
Earbud? AirPod?
Yes, yes, and it's gonna translate everything you already have available on Amazon, as I said. Nvidia and Nasdaq actually is Uranus in Gemini. Everything is going up, as I said. And when you went to have water, I already told which kind of SMR Rocket Lab, XRP, XLM. It's going to really rise. Ethereum loves Venus in Libra, guys. Right now, Ethereum going to have when it comes out from that South Node Venus conjunction in Virgo, you know, it's stretching, and right now it's gonna explode, and it could go up even $1,000. So Ethereum could really significantly grow Venus in Libra.
So would you say that Uranus and Gemini then is kind of NASDAQ, and it's just a simple way to go over the next 7 years is just to buy an exchange traded index fund about the NASDAQ? Like, you know what I mean? You don't have to buy individual stocks. You just buy like, I'm buying the NASDAQ. And so if it goes up, you go up. You know what I mean? There's a name for that thing. Index fund.
NASDAQ and NVIDIA, yes. Anything which has technology and AI in it.
Right. Okay.
Anything, data analysis, anything. So if you see something, for example, I keep telling to everyone, and I'm gonna let you know, guys, I'm very close to the fire, and my friends, investors who are, you know, all live in Jupiter, Florida, and connected. One of them created a database and sold it to the Saudi Arabian prince, and no, what is the other one? Oh my God, the very famous city in the emigrate. Dubaian prince.
I read your mind.
The Dubaian prince, and for 1.6 billion, and I only put $5,000 in. My investment went up to 95,000. I can take it out in October 14th after the grand trial, and then when the IPO is coming up, guys, then I am able to put that actually in the same data analysis, because we're going to take our blood, put it on the computer, and it's gonna analyze everything. You can have prone to cancer in 5 years. You have to, if you want to prevent that, what you have to do holistic you. This is the doctor nearby you. This is the teledoctor, you know, like it's gonna be amazing also. But, you know, so data analysis is very, very, very important. We're going to have wristbands, for example, also, you know, which is multilingual as well. So it is just going to, you put it on, and if you hear any kind of language. So right now, the big issue, Bad Bunny is going to play on NFL. I mean, I'm laughing my butt off, because I was like, come on, music is music. And I was like, listen, if we have that wristband, if you don't know Spanish, or, you know, you understand, but music is music anyway for me. But yeah, so you can have that, and you can invest in that. Anything to do with ETFs. Oh, I wanted to say something about ETFs. If you don't buy actually Bitcoin itself, right, the mining Bitcoin, if you do ETFs have dividends. So it is actually paying you monthly, 400, 700. It depends how much money you have to put in ETFs. But ETFs could give you a monthly income, guys, right? Because they're using your money to invest in the coins. And that's why they are giving you some kind of, you know, dividend, which is monthly income. Also, I talk about Moonbag. Moonbag is like, so when you enter anything, you have to decide, are you going to do short term or long term? If you do long term, don't panic ever, because eventually it comes back. Okay. If it's short term, you know, because you're playing with Venus, Mars, or, you know, like, for example, Venus loves Bitcoin in Taurus, and Venus loves Ethereum in Libra, right? So you have to know those things. But whenever you enter and buy something, make sure you say, okay, I want to have actually 50% of profit, and I'm getting out because I want to get short term. And I'm not gonna get greedy, because greediness is usually make you lose money, right?
Yeah.
So make sure when you enter, you have a timeline. What do you want to achieve? And also the Moonbag is when you say, okay, anyway, I'm gonna keep in $5,000 in that. If you are having smaller amount of money, I understand, $200 in that. And Moonbag is whatever happens, I keep that in, and it's just going to be there no matter what it's gonna happen with it, because I can afford to lose it.
Right, exactly.
So that's very, very important. All right. So yes, let's go forward. And, you know, with June 19, we have Chiron enter Taurus over here. And yes, so anything to do with Chiron in Taurus, it's something to do with burnouts. But, you know, it's something to do with platforms like ketamine wellness, anything to do with beef. Like, for example, a lot of people, Jordan Peterson went to do beef diet and the wife because they wanted to heal cancer. At this moment, what I heard from Jordan Peterson, he was actually in ICU for over a month and he not able to communicate. He has a very, very serious issue. So I'm wondering if it's the only eating beef, nothing else could create it something which is obviously right now it's causing his life or health because he is in very, very bad shape. But the ketamine, microdosing ketamine, it's very popular in the US and mushrooms as well. And, you know, it could create some kind of burnout, you know, like the neurotransmitters in the brain. So it's burnout over there. Or it could be like we can't feed our beefs, not beefs, but the cows anymore. So the beef market could shrink somehow.
Oh, interesting. All right. Because Chiron being both medicine and healer and those parts of it, meaning like, okay, more earth-based medicines like plant spirit medicines or entheogens to heal. But also there's a wound there. And we think of Taurus as the bull, like maybe our cows will turn out to be ill from some pandemic amongst the cows. You know what I mean?
I do keep saying that we're going to have actually Neptune Saturn conjunction. We're gonna could have a new virus coming in, not necessarily pandemic, but that is actually create issue with our vision, right? Because in areas that is the eye and ear, which is vision, so we might going to have a pink eye, but we are not seeing for a month, just blurry, some kind of things like that. And Chiron in Taurus and also Uranus coming back, it could create a mad cow disease, something like that. You know, so it could actually, we have to kill the cows and the deers, for example, because they have some kind of disease. And Chiron is going to help to rebuild, uh, you know, but it's going to be a long time until it's in Taurus. And anyway, Chiron in Taurus, yes, plant-based eating, right? Taurus is the food that we eat. We're gonna move away from meat because of genetically modified and it's not humanly raised. It is like trauma and you don't want to eat. You're gonna understand actually the vibration, Uranus in Gemini, of the animal. That's why I love Avatar. I'm a Pisces sun and I'm so mystical, and Avatar is for me right before you kill anything, you pray, and you know, like you don't want to kill, you know, like when you sacrifice
Of
an
course.
animal.
I know I only eat, that's why I pay a lot of money to eat humanely treated, grass-fed, happy local animals, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
otherwise you're eating like you're eating animals tortured and killed.
Yeah. And you know, their liver, if you eat their liver and they, for example, fed with, you know, like grains and whatever, and the liver is toxic, you eating that, you're going to have toxicity. So obviously, okay, let's go to Jupiter enters Leo. We already talked about this. It is going to definitely help with even you know, platforms where, for example, social media platforms, right? Anything to do, not necessarily Disney itself, because Disney going to have a lot of issues, but definitely it's going to help with new platforms coming out, and it is going to be good for the stock market. And you know, Jupiter and Leo, it's luxurious cars as well, Ferrari, you know, like anything to do with those luxurious cars. It could be really Maserati going high up as well. And
Hmm.
Saturn, Neptune also, guys, I forget that. Saturn is Chronos, Neptune is glamour.
Yeah.
Invest in luxurious watch, you know, anything to do with really, my husband is like totally crazy on watches, and oh my God, every single movement he tries to explain me. I was like, as much as I'm interested, as much as you're interested in astrology aspects, so let's not talk about this because this is just like, but luxurious watches, it's going to skyrocket. Saturn is antique. Buy antique watches, for example. It could be really, really great.
Exactly. Saturn rules that antique world for sure. So anything to do with tradition, luxury, lasting value, antiques, and glamour.
Yes, exactly. And also what I see over here, we can have actually Mars going to conjunct Uranus. And guys, those are actually terror attacks. And those are also something to do with nuclear powerhouses attacks. Somehow it start to have an accident and leaking, right? But oh, but I want to go back to Jupiter in Leo, luxurious brand, anything to do with Louis Vuitton, Tiffany, those kind actually could go. Versace could actually increase its values during this time. But Mars-Uranus conjunction is cyber attack. So when you invest, guys, what is the most important to be safe? Where do you keep your money? Not on Coinbase, not on anywhere you bought it. Either you go to hot wallet. Hot wallet is when you're still trading, but it's safe because it can be cyber attacked. But cold wallet, ledgers, those are the one where you're going to keep your money safe. It's not taxed also in some countries. I wanted to tell you guys, cryptocurrency is not taxed in Portugal. So just so you know, if you move to Portugal or if you have a PO box or an address over there, your crypto is not taxed in Portugal.
That's interesting.
Cayman Island also.
Oh,
Then
Portugal's getting better and better. You know something about the idea, though, of cyber attacks with this Mars-Uranus conjunction, right? Because you're highlighting that and using cybersecurity. Like, I mean, companies doing really well. I just want to add one more thing. There's a concern that when the supercomputers are creating with quantum computing, the problem with quantum computing, if they get it to finally work and it's getting better and better and they're having less and less problems, is that quantum computing technology will be able to hack any codes.
Yeah.
There's no cryptography that it can't hack.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the truth. Yeah. Unfortunately, and that's also going to actually leak the data out. And if the data is out about, the politicians and shadow government, people are not going to believe anymore because then they are capable to see everything. So that's when Pluto out of bond, the power gonna belong from the people again. So yes, leaking of data, yes, it is cyber attack. But cyber attack also, it is leaking out all the data about also the powerful, and it's like a win-lose, win-win, lose-lose kind of situation.
Exactly. It's an interesting world we're heading into because there's so much of our technology that we rely on being able to crypto save it, right? Our crypto codes that we only know, like Tiger 8, 9, 10, 12, 8, whatever we created or whatever generated it. But, just the whole world, cyber attacks, meaning they're breaching the firewall. But if as soon as we end up with a quantum computing technology that's working properly, there are no unbreachable firewalls.
Exactly. But we still need like probably 2 more years to have the quantum AI to work. And until then, you still can become,
Yes,
like.
exactly. We use the next 2 years while you can.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, very, very important. Uranus trine Pluto, July 18, guys. Anything to do with NATO, the EU, and anything to do with the US Department of Defense, All right, this is something to do with cyber attacks, working against cyber attacks, actually, right? So that's what's going to happen. We're going to try to, that is when actually Plantir and the Golden Globe actually could be admitted on the US, around the US. So yes. And anything to do with blockchain and digital currency as well, we're going to adopt to that, and the central bank and the recent currency is going to be over. So that's very important as well. And
Quick
the
question.
energy.
Sorry, I have a quick question. Uranium, of course, we think of it for technologies to do with nuclear technology, and I get that Uranus and uranium. I get that connection. But is there any other value that uranium has other than in creating nuclear power or nuclear weapons?
Well, uranium, we also use it for space mining. We also use it for rocket ships as well.
Okay.
Uh, so yes, uranium, we use that in technology itself, to building computers and things like that. So yeah, it's not only, like this kind of terrible power, but
Right.
we use that for that. Okay, where I am. Yeah. And yes, let's go to actually Jupiter trine Neptune in July 20th. So over here, this is going to be really good for luxurious market, and it's also good for medicines as well.
Mm-hmm.
So any kind of pharmaceutical, and the oil prices and the natural gas prices also going to go up, and commodities as well, because Jupiter was that. But okay, and Jupiter exalted in Cancer, so silver going to go up still by July 20. As I said, it has a Gemini stellium, obviously. Uranus going to affect that positively. And then North Node going to enter Aquarius on July 26th, and the South Node is in Leo. Aquarius, anything to do with Tesla, Palantir, those are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and social media influencers, also tech dynasties. So that's what's going to rise. The rise of the AI going to be here because of also Pluto is in Aquarius, and eventually North Node Pluto conjunction within 18 months of that. Yes, it's going to be the rise of tech as well. So yes, that's definitely there for us. And then the Leo South Node, it's also Jupiter is in Leo, so it's bringing in some kind of rise of Tiffany and like expensive watches and cars as well. But also slowly we're going to move away from TikTok, for example, from fame in the moment, because TikTok is like, I feel like it's like giving you some kind of attention spam. It is like short spam
Yeah.
memory or something like that, and we're going to let go of this kind of 2 minutes fame.
Oh, yeah. The downside of Leo starting to like drain out a bit, that sort of look at me. Yeah. Like no depth here, just all shiny and bright.
Mhm. And because of TikTok has been bought right now,
I
and
know.
I don't want to go there, what's going to happen in 2029 in the Middle East, but we can have maybe later on something about that. But because of that, it's also people are going to exit TikTok, and they're not going to use it. Also Instagram and Facebook. So new platform, look for new platform. There is going to be Jupiter in Leo going to create new platform, but those kind of old fame, it's gonna go away. So we're not
Mm.
going to use either Meta. You will see it could actually decrease as well. So Facebook and anything else. Okay, and then we have July 20th also opposition, Jupiter and Pluto opposition. This could be, it is the power system. It is the new, and the Pluto still the shadow government. Jupiter is a new government coming in. As I said, Neptune Saturn conjunction also could be democratic socialism as well. We're still going to be like amazing capitalist countries as well. Look at Sweden, Switzerland. They are all democratic welfare and democratic socialism. They live in an amazing country with the social system is amazing, and they still improve. So that could come in.
Absolutely. And in fact, those countries are not spending all of their money on military expansion. So they are
Yes.
giving the money that you give them as your, taxpayer to things you actually need and want. Functional roads, a good daycares, a great health care.
Yeah, maternity leave for mothers and fathers.
Yes. And
No
that is,
crime.
everyone's so afraid of socialism as if it's like a toxin in the United States. Well, it'd be nice to actually be taken care of by the people you're giving the money to make a functional community called your society.
Yeah, but you know what? Okay, Lori, I have to tell you something here. People are not necessarily informed, or how do you call that? Undoctorated, like when they intellectually lazy, perhaps they don't even know what is the political ideology means. They have no clue. They just repeating propaganda, but they have no clue about that. And I'm not talking about socialism. I'm talking about social democracy that is totally different, because
Mhm.
there is capitalism at the very high level, and also taking care of the underprivileged and the mothers who has to raise their children to become a normal human being later on, right? Because that's what it is.
I know. No, you're preaching to this choir, but I get that, and a lot of times people are angry when I say I don't like to pay my taxes in Canada. I'm finding ways to I incorporate it, but in Canada, we don't have a functional medical system anymore. So that's just one example of where the money isn't going where it's needed. The government's spending it on things that most Canadians don't really care about. So one thing I think you're seeing with this, because we're going back to the astrology, Jupiter opposite Pluto, is Jupiter is going to bring in something new, some new leader energy, some new kind of system for governance, especially in Leo, which represents kings and kingdoms, and Pluto, when we're looking at July 20th, Pluto's not out of bounds yet. I don't think he gets out of bounds till August. So it's still the old shadow governments, the old ways of doing things.
Yes, and Jupiter opposed Pluto also, it could bring in new digital Cold War. So the war is also going to be on social media, obviously, because they want to censor us with TikTok. Who is actually creating Wikipedia or Google? Who controls Wikipedia, Google, and TikTok right now? This is a digital Cold War over here, and censorship as well. Yes, absolutely. And the BRICS going to actually push for the gold back currency, obviously, because of the gold gonna go and go to China. Yes. And then we're going to have the solar eclipse in Leo, actually, and it's going to be solar eclipse. It's something to do with pop culture ETFs, as I said. When what's her name? Oh, I don't like her, but Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Yes, okay. So her, or like famous people going to have meme coins, and things like that. It's short-term trades, for example. So careful with it, because it's not going to be there and available forever. So it's gonna
Mm.
go out of fashion, and new ones coming in. Yes. All right, but then we're going to have also that is the solar eclipse. Solar eclipse very good. It's gonna be really good for gold, and also because we're going to have Saturn, Jupiter, trine Leo, and Saturn, Neptune, right, in Aries. So that is actually going to increase the value of gold and solar panels, solar
Mm.
energy. It's going to that one actually by August, end of August, and we also have the Pisces eclipse. It could create in a lot of countries social warfare. It could create democratic socialism. It could create Mundani in New York to win the
Oh
million.
gosh, I know. He's on a tear. I think he's going to do well.
Yeah. So
So,
that's happening.
this total solar eclipse. Can I just ask a question? Because
Yeah.
this is focused on finance, which I love. But a total solar eclipse can indicate for any strong Leo placement leaders in the world an eclipse of power. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It is, but it is something to do with new power. So whoever was in already, it's not necessarily going to be there.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Okay, thank you.
It's new power. It's bringing in very, very powerful, strong, vital, younger, charismatic, magnetic. Yeah. Who has
Gotcha.
Leo moon, Leo sun. Yes, yes. But not the old ones. It has to be young, youth energy. Yes.
Yeah, well, that's why Donald Trump's 29-degree ascendant. I don't even care what degree this eclipse is. And JD Vance, Leo ascendant, his chart is the king in waiting. It's like they're all over the sky for him that he will be in power before Trump's 4-year term is over. So that's
Yeah.
an example. Yeah. Just sidebar on the politics. So I love what you've given here about watching for bull traps. That's important. Don't get all caught up in the excitement.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, guys. Then August 28th, we have the partial lunar eclipse in Pisces. That's what's going to happen on your Jupiter and my Sun on formal heart. So it is Archangel Gabriel. Okay. It is partial lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse I really don't like. And I was a little bit afraid because it's happening on my Sun. But you know what, guys? It is something to do with oil spills or water issues, you know, dirty water, for example. So we will see how is the water stock going to go down, for example, but also it could create some kind of new stock with flood defense. And actually, Norway and Sweden, they have amazing flood defense mechanism. And I believe right now, a lot of new countries going to actually do that. And maybe even I hope Florida and California and we going to actually have that because I live through a lot of hurricane and I have enough. I'm ready to move. I don't
Mm.
want to do it anymore. But yes, so that's what's happening. So it's something to do with flood defense, obviously, and also oil spill. Look something with oil spill during this time. And also the big pharma also going to have a lot of trial and they're going to fail in trial. And also it could indicate actually some of the mafia or some of the cartel leader going to get executed.
Interesting.
So that's
The
also
Exxon Valdez oil spill, I think it was 87 anyway, was it? It occurred during the Pisces Virgo eclipse axes, you know?
I did have an oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico in 2010. We did have, but it was just going out of Pisces,
I
right?
remember that. I remember, and I think the Exxon Valdez was also this Pisces axis. So again, yeah, so contamination of water is the theme.
Contamination of water, yes. All right, and the last one, guys, what I'm gonna give you, it's August 31st, it's Jupiter Saturn trine. It is going to bring in amazing opportunities for us. So the market manipulation that's happened in February, right? And it's a 3 to 6 weeks very bad market when you buy in.
Mm-hmm.
And this time you already going to take profit out from that.
Ah,
Yes.
nice.
So I try to give you everything, but if you guys want to buy my writes up for each individual sign, 150 pages, I'm teaching you. I'm telling you which platform to buy, what does month by month actually, when can you take profit, when can you enter the market? What does it mean? What is the historical parallel you need to watch for? You are, you know, it's gonna be on my website tonight already. I'm gonna upload it. You can download it. So it's amazing
I'll be
information.
buying it. I'll be grabbing that baby for sure. You know something, I used to be a medium term trader. I left the markets after a while because I would dream the markets and I would get like I dreamt the downdraft of the tech bubble collapsing. You know, I dreamt the markets and it was interfering with my sleep in my 30s. But I lately, and then I had a financial advisor who was terrible and she did a terrible job of investing for me. I'm better doing it myself. So I'll be getting back in myself finally. And this is exactly the kind of thing I love to buy from you. So I'll be having the link also directly to those downloads when this goes on YouTube Live and also in my Patreon community who gets this early access ad free. So you have to let me know when that content is ready before I put it onto my platforms.
I'm
But
gonna
this is
send it to you. Yes, and
wonderful.
it's gonna be ready tonight, but I'm gonna send it to you. It's thank you so much. It's amazing.
Oh, I'm
I
so
hope you
excited. I'm
love
so excited. I have to say, thank you so much. You want to take the unshare and I'll say goodbye to you face to face. Oh, you look
Okay.
at the tiny
Yes,
little face in
yes,
the
I'm
top
going to
corner.
do that. Okay,
All right.
wait. How do I? It's
Oh,
here.
stop share. There's a little button that says stop share.
Okay,
I can't stop it because yay, you started it. So I have no power. You have all the power. You know, I want to say I'm really impressed by your absolute detailed memory of certain dates and times and places. I work the same way in the same industry as you. I take my lion's mane with my coffee, but oh my God, your brain is totally amazing.
Thank you, sir. I do have an elephant memory, and I do have actually Mercury in Aquarius, which is the genius and you know, and also the memory is so imprinted, and I remember everything.
That's incredible. You're amazing. So
Bye.
I cannot wait to get this out to my people. So I'll be telling you exactly the date that it's going to go onto YouTube, but also before that, my Patreon community gets everything early access ad free. I'm sure very many people will be very interested in what you've created for the purchase product. And I thought this was such an intelligent and beautiful presentation, Christina. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Anytime you want to do another, I'm always up to it. So you just tell
Yeah,
me
I
what
will. I
you
will.
want to
This
talk
was
about.
really, I enjoyed it so much. I love markets. I love stocks and stock markets. So this was for me as a former medium-term trader with some tech analysis abilities. I know what a head and shoulders pattern looks like. I use, that kind of trading tool. I just loved what you gave us today. And so everybody remember, I know we'll have to put a little disclaimer in my box at YouTube. This is not your personal financial advice. This is general ideas of what you might be able to do. Neither Christina nor I are responsible for your financial choices.
Yes, exactly. It is on my written PDF.
Wonderful. And it'll be it's
Yeah.
under my video anyway, that this is entertainment purposes only, but I'll repurpose the same statement at the top of my description box for this one, because yeah, it is ideas. It's not guidance nor specific to your chart or life. So
Yes.
thank you,
All
my dear. I'm going to sign us off right away because I have another person I'm interviewing, Renn Butler of the Archetypal Universe, right after you. So it's a recording day for me. So I would, otherwise I'd hang out and say hi privately. So thank you for coming. I'm looking forward to getting this out to my channel and to my Patreon community. You are amazing.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye for now, honey. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.